Level 1. The Reflex Liar. How are you? Fine. You say it before they even finish asking. You're not fine. You slept 3 hours. Your rent is late. Your chest has been tight all morning. But you smile and say fine because that's what people do. You lie about small things all day long. You tell your coworker the meeting was good when it wasn't. You tell your friend you're on the way when you haven't left yet. You tell your mother you ate today when you forgot. None of these lies matter. They're social grease. They keep things moving. But here's what you don't realize. Every time you say something that isn't true, your brain gets a little faster at it, a little smoother. You're not a liar yet. You're just rehearsing. Level 2. The Excuse Maker. You've upgraded. Your lies have a purpose now. They protect you from consequences. You show up late to work. Your boss looks at you. Traffic was insane this morning. Traffic was fine. You overslept. But the lie lands and your boss nods, and that's the end of it. You start doing this everywhere. You didn't forget the deadline, your laptop crashed. You didn't skip the gym, your knee was acting up. You didn't ignore her call, your phone was on silent. You have an excuse for everything, and every excuse sounds perfectly reasonable. The people around you believe you. Why wouldn't they? You're not lying about big things. You're just smoothing over the small ones. But you're building a habit, and habits become reflexes, and reflexes become who you are. Level 3. The Exaggerator. You don't just cover mistakes anymore. You've started improving the truth, making things a little bigger, a little better, a little more impressive than they actually were. You went on a date last weekend. It was okay. She was nice. But when your friends ask about it, you add details. You make yourself funnier than you were. You make the chemistry sound stronger than it was. Their eyes widen and they lean in, and suddenly you're the most interesting person at the table. You do this at work too. That project you finished? You did your part. But when you describe it to the director, you leave out the 3 other people who helped. You didn't lie exactly, you just didn't mention them. You're learning something important. The truth is a rough draft. It can always be edited. And edited stories always sound better than real ones. Level 4. The Performer. You've stopped lying on the spot. Now you prepare. You rehearse what you're going to say before you say it. You think about follow-up questions, and you have answers ready. You've started thinking 2 or 3 moves ahead. Your girlfriend finds a receipt in your jacket. Dinner for 2, Tuesday night. She was at her mother's on Tuesday. You don't flinch. You already anticipated this. Work dinner with a client. She ordered the salmon. Terrible conversationalist. You say it with a half smile. You add a small detail, the salmon, because you know that specifics make lies believable. She laughs. She puts the receipt down. This is the level where lying becomes a skill. You learn that eye contact matters. You learn that liars who give too much detail get caught. You learn that the best lies are boring. Nobody investigates a boring answer. You also learn something you don't expect. Lying well is exhausting. You spend more energy maintaining your stories than you'd ever spend just telling the truth. But you can't stop. Because the truth now would unravel months of careful performance. Level 5. The Double Life. You don't just tell lies anymore. You live inside them. You have built a version of your life that doesn't exist, and people believe it. Maybe it's a relationship you're hiding. Maybe it's debt you refuse to admit. Maybe you told your family you graduated when you dropped out 3 semesters ago. It doesn't matter what the lie is. What matters is that your entire daily routine is now organized around protecting it. You have 2 phones. You delete messages. You remember which story you told which person. You keep a mental map of who knows what, and you never let those maps overlap. A friend from your real life meets a friend from your constructed life at a party. Your stomach drops. You cross the room fast. You steer the conversation. You make sure they don't talk long enough to compare notes. It works, this time. You lie in bed at night, running through your stories, checking for gaps, looking for contradictions. You spend more time maintaining the lie than you ever spent living the truth. But the truth feels so far away now. Going back would mean admitting everything, and everything is too much. Level 6, the betrayer. Up until now, your lies mostly hurt you. This is where they start destroying other people. Someone at work gets blamed for your mistake. You could speak up. You could say it was you. You say nothing. You watch them get pulled into a meeting. You watch them walk out with red eyes. You say nothing. You tell yourself it's not your problem. You tell yourself they'll be fine. You tell yourself you'll make it up to them somehow. You won't. You know you won't. But telling yourself you will makes it easier to sleep tonight. Your lies have weight now. They land on other people. A friend trusts you with information, and you trade it for a favor. Your partner believes a version of last weekend that never happened. You can see it in their faces sometimes. Not suspicion exactly, just a flicker. Like they can feel something is wrong, but they can't name it. You could stop here. This is the last exit. You don't take it. Level 7, the myth builder. You've crossed over into something different. You're not covering your tracks anymore. You're building a completely fictional version of yourself, and you're selling it. Your resume has a degree you didn't earn. Your stories reference experiences you never had. You talk about a childhood that's 60% invented because the real one wasn't interesting enough. People admire you. They admire a person who doesn't exist. You get hired for a job based on qualifications you don't have. The first week is terrifying. The second week is less terrifying. By the third week, you realize something. You can learn fast enough to cover the gaps. Nobody is checking your references because you interview so well that they don't feel the need to. You start believing your own myth. You tell a story about something that never happened, and halfway through, you feel the memory form. You can see it. You can feel it. The line between what you lived and what you invented isn't blurry anymore. It's gone. A cousin visits you from your hometown. She mentions something real, something that actually happened when you were kids. You freeze. For a second, you can't tell if she's describing your real life or one of your stories. That pause terrifies you, but not enough to stop. Level 8, the system. You don't think about individual lies anymore. You think in systems. You've built an infrastructure around your dishonesty, and it runs on its own. You have alibis set up before you need them. You have people who will confirm stories without knowing they're fake. You have separate email accounts, separate social circles, separate histories for separate audiences. You know exactly who thinks what about you because you designed it that way. When someone gets close to the truth, you don't panic. You redirect. You give them a different truth, one that's also false but feels more satisfying than digging further. People stop investigating not because they believe you, but because you always give them something easier to believe. You sit in a meeting. Your business partner trusts you completely. He doesn't know about the second set of numbers. He doesn't know about the deal you made without him. He calls you his closest friend. You nod. You shake his hand. You feel nothing. This is what it costs. You have replaced instinct with calculation. You don't feel guilt anymore. You don't feel relief when a lie works. You don't feel anything. The machinery runs so smoothly now that there's no friction left. And friction is where feelings live. Level 9. The prisoner. You've won. Every lie you've ever told has held. Nobody knows the truth. Not your partner, not your friends, not your colleagues. You have fooled every single person in your life, and you have never been more trapped. You can't tell the truth anymore. It's not a choice, it's structural. If one lie falls, the whole thing collapses. Your career, your relationships, your reputation. Everything is load-bearing. Pull one thread and the entire structure comes down. So you maintain it. Every morning you wake up and you rebuild the walls. You check the stories, you monitor the people. You make sure no one is asking questions. You sit across from someone who loves you. They're telling you about their day. They trust you completely. And you realize you will never be able to tell this person who you actually are. Not because you're afraid of their reaction, but because you've been lying so long that you don't know what the truth would even sound like coming out of your mouth. You try sometimes. Alone. Standing in front of the mirror. You try to say something real, something honest. Something that isn't calculated or rehearsed or designed to produce a specific reaction. The words don't come. They haven't come in years. You built this prison one lie at a time. Each one was small. Each one was easy. Each one felt like nothing. And now you're standing inside a structure so tall and so thick that you can't see over the walls. Everyone thinks they know you. Nobody does. Not even you. And that's the thing about lies. They don't just fool other people. Given enough time, they fool the liar too.